Welcome to Whitetail Rendezvous Podcast. This is Bruce Hutchin, host and executive producer. Each week you will hear tips, techniques, strategies, and personal stories from some of the best and funniest whitetail hunters in North America. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you do, tell a friend on social media. If not, tell me and I'll make it better. Thanks for listening, folks. This is Whitetail Rendezvous Podcast, episode number 392. Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. We're heading out to southwestern to be exact, Iowa, land of the giants, and Quentin Strum's going to be our guest today. And Quentin is the pro staff manager for Above the Game TV. Above the Game TV is found on Facebook. Yes, 8 to 10 minutes of nonstop action with real people in real places doing real hunting. It's as it is, where it is, from the car to the stand to the hunt and back to the truck. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Quentin Strum from Above the Game TV. And we're heading out to Iowa, and we're heading out to a good friend's place out there, Quentin Strum. And Quentin is the pro staff manager for Above the Game TV. So Quentin, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bruce. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's a pleasure. And, Iowa's the land of the giants. I was at the Iowa Deer Classic, and I couldn't believe that 283 or whatever monster buck that killed in southwestern Iowa last fall. That's just...
Yeah, that's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah.
To walk into that place now, and those walls are just lined with 200-inch deer. It's pretty amazing.
And if you're trying to get a tag, if you're an archery hunter trying to get in the tag, you got 4 or 5 years ahead of you. So put in, as Garth Carter used to say for hunting food, apply. And my good friends at gohunt.com say the same thing, apply. And that's what you got to do. And I do.
Yep.
And, hopefully I'll get back out there and finally have a 200-incher walk under my tree. That'd be sweet. So
that would be awesome.
Above the Game TV, tell me a little bit about that, because it's a social media based hunting show, right?
That's correct. We started as of last year. We went full time social media based. We also do have an Apple TV app. If you have Apple TV, download our app on there. You get all the content just like you would on Facebook. But like I said, we are social media based. We just got started with a contract with Watermark Productions. They're one of the, very high production companies in the outdoor world. These guys are just absolutely amazing to work with. They have the #1 rated show on TV right now, which is Whitetail Freaks with Donna Candy Kiske. And as a social media based show, we're the first step into the social media based hunting shows. To work with a company like that it's unbelievable. It's amazing.
Well, it sounds like you're pretty happy about that, and I know you travel around the country and work in hospitals and sell equipment or install equipment in hospitals. So how do you balance your job at Above the Game TV and your real job that pays you pays the freight?
Well, we've always prided ourselves in that. All of our staff for Above the Game, we all have full-time jobs. We're all just regular guys. And, I guess me in particular, I'm a very busy guy. I'm not home all the time. Like you said, I do travel all over. But when it comes to hunting and spending time outdoors, you got to make time for that. And I always make time for that.
Well, good for you. Now, how long have you been the pro staff manager for Above the Game TV?
I actually just started in this position at the beginning of this year. We've expanded quite a bit as a show, and we have what we would consider our elite staff guys. But as a social media based show, we're networking. Networking is really big for us, and the more people we can get involved, the better off we are. So our field staff, we're we're growing our field staff right now and just creating this network of people, and it's uncharted territory, and it's just been an amazing experience to be able to work with some of the people we have and get to meet some of these people. And you meet somebody new doing this every single day. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it is. And early on in the show, your episode number 392, Bill Winke was so gracious to be on the show, one of the first 10 guys on the show. And he told me the backstory about Midwest whitetails and the struggles. I mean, the little struggles that he had, not so much today. He's got a great show. He's got great people involved, and he's just, real people in real places sharing real hunts. And when you think about guys like that, he's right out in Ankakee, I think, outside Des Moines. But anyway, having said that, the opportunity for people today, and that's why one reason I wanted to have you on the show is to talk about that opportunity. You're 20 something years old, you get a full time job, and you love the whitetail hunt, and you're in one of the premier states in the nation for large whitetails, for mature whitetails.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's share a little bit. Just tell me, okay, I'm interested in becoming a pro staff member. What does that mean to you, and how do I qualify?
To be a pro staff, obviously we have our sponsors. I've got a list of sponsors. Be 100% dedicated, to the brands to our sponsors, and to knock the footage is big. You have to have the right camera equipment, and it takes your dedication level just to go out and hunt and to be on a pro staff. I mean, you're committing your life basically to the love of hunting and the sport, and to go out and be able to just basically film your whole story, film your life, and be committed to that. It does take a commitment, but when you go out and you nail a hunt and get a kill on film, there's nothing better. There's no better feeling than coming back and be able to watch that and share that with your family and your friends and however many people you can. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is, and I think of the work that goes into just filming, and a lot of guys are self filming. A lot of guys are filming, and the equipment's come way down. And if you start to know what you're doing, but the thing that amazes me, and I've talked to some other people about that. How do I stay in a tree stand from basically Halloween, a day or two before Halloween, till the 5th, 6th, or 7th of, of November? And I do switch up to stands, depends on the wind, but I'm in the stand all the time. And I know you guys are all the film guys that get good footage are staying there. How do you do that? How do they spend the time in the stand? Because you're not just popping in, popping out. I mean, what does it take? 15 minutes to get set up? 20 minutes to get set up?
Oh yeah. Pretty much every time you go in, yeah, you're carrying all the equipment in. You're spending the extra however many 10 minutes at the truck filming this and that. You're filming the walk in, and then you get up in the tree and you got to put all your equipment in the tree. It's not for the faint hearted. You can definitely find some snags and troubles with it. But we have guys on our staff that do this, as far as deer season goes, 120 days out of the year. You're lugging in camera equipment in and out, and they don't miss a day. I went out this last Christmas, and it was raining here, but we sat out in the rain with all of our camera gear on Christmas morning. That's probably the craziest story I have from this last year. We sat out there until our camera equipment wouldn't even run anymore. But that's the type of dedication that we have out of our guys, and I wouldn't trade that for the world.
Yeah, that's pretty special. Now, I get how you can get, for an afternoon sit, but if I'm doing an all day sit, how do I get in there with all the gear? It's dark, and then, I'm going to sit in the stand all day. If Mr. Wonderful doesn't come by, we don't get a shot or whatever. Now I'm getting out, and I invariably will push deer out. They shouldn't be there, but they are. and so I'm pushing them out so that burns the stand for the next morning if I, you know, come back. So how does that not happen? How do you guys, you know, do it so you don't burn out stands?
Uh, that does happen. We're fortunate enough to have enough. We have quite a bit of ground that we can hunt. But that yeah, there are times that you blow deer up and you really got to play your wind. You checking wind all the time. You're checking weather. It's just different. You got to manage your ground that you do have, and if you do blow a place up, then and you just can't go back into it. It is tougher carrying all the equipment in, and you're making more of a racket. You got to be 10 times more careful doing that than with just one guy walking in. You've got two guys plus another 50 pounds of equipment. It takes your hunting strategy to a whole nother level, and it's pretty hard to explain to somebody who hasn't been out and done it before.
Yeah, because you get double set. Now all your stand sets are pre-hung, right? So your
Yep.
double set
Yes.
is already pre-hung. So
Yep.
you have to get up there and pull the stuff up and carry the stuff up and do that. And how do you guys, when you strap in, what kind of systems are you using so, you know, the TV gear doesn't fall off and you don't fall off and your bow doesn't fall off and your lunch doesn't fall off? How do you keep all that crap in a tree that maybe only 10 inches in diameter?
Well, you have to do your homework when it comes to that, and find the right tree for a double set, and to find a set that you can have a tree arm on for a camera and your bow. And it's pretty funny to look up in a tree at two people sitting up there, and you don't realize how much space you actually do occupy, and you have to conceal again from a deer. It's hard enough just with one person, but to have all that gear hanging off of a tree is, like I said, it takes something to a whole nother level.
Yeah, I'm going to my all day sits. I got my crossbow, and then I got my backpack, and then I got my rattling horns, and I got my grunt tube and lat tube or bleat tube, pardon me, and then just that alone is a lot of crap. And if the weather's really bad, I got my heater suit, which is wonderful, but golly gee, that takes up a lot of room, and that's just one guy.
Yeah, yep, that's right.
So what's it take? Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say so I really want to be a pro staffer. So what are some of the questions you would ask me? I get a little bit of reputation and people kind of know me and I've killed a few deer and okay guy. And now you're saying, hey, you applied for a pro staff position for Above the Game. What are you going to ask them?
Well, I mean, first of all, you got to have the right camera equipment. That's the whole purpose behind the show, is to film, get good quality footage, and obviously in the long run be successful at what you do. Like I said, we are sponsor driven, especially on a social media base. So we're looking for 100% dedication to our sponsors. And, we don't just have, so and so for sponsors. We have these sponsors because we believe in their products, and we want to be able to 100% believe in you. You're backing our product that we're sponsored by, and you go out and and tell your story and be able to tell your story. Just be yourself in front of the camera, and it is tough to find some of those people, but when it all comes together, it's pretty amazing to watch someone that's really good put a show together like that. It's a lot of fun just to sit back and watch these guys do their thing.
Yeah, and folks, Quentin, he started off filming for Above the Game. Tell me, how'd you get in contact with them, and then how did you prove to them that you were the guy that they could help build the company around?
Well, I actually knew knew one of the pro staff guys, 4 above the game, and they were short a cameraman. And to be right honest, I never ran a camera. I had never even touched a camera before that. And I went out with them for a weekend, and we came back and watched some footage that I had shot. And they said, yeah, you're kind of a natural behind the camera, so we're going to let you fill in. And that's how I started. I just filled in every now and again. I still was out hunting by myself, but it gradually filled into a pretty much full-time thing, and I got involved just more and more over the years, and I I guess I'm very blessed to be where I'm at today. But that's all it took for me was just to start behind the camera.
Well, you had confidence. One, you were a good hunter. Two, you had confidence to say, okay, I can do this. And, because those cameras got a lot of buttons. They do.
Yeah, they do. They sure do.
Well, good for you. And we're going to switch it up now because one thing in a warm up, you said you really enjoy taking people out that haven't hunted much. And let's talk about some of those stories that you got involved with some other people and how that all go out.
Well, I guess I started. I've helped more or less film new kids, and it's amazing to go out and have someone that doesn't know a whole lot about hunting take them out in the woods and have the experience of them seeing their first deer that's that close, or that the turkey that gobbles right behind you and they've never heard a turkey gobble before, and just to see their enthusiasm, even if they don't really catch on and go out again, it's just that experience, and to see their face, or to actually get a kid hooked. There's no greater feeling than that. There's no greater feeling.
Well, how'd you get connected with these kids? What did you do specifically? If somebody said, "Hey, I want to do that," how did you do it?
Well, there's multiple kids that I've known, and I've been more than willing to take them out if I knew their parents or anything like that. Then I would ask and be like, yeah, oh hey, would they like to go out and experience this? Busy schedules are one thing, but if I have the opportunity to take someone out, if I know their dad isn't able to and they want to be involved, I guess that, I don't know.
Well, it simply is asking somebody to say, "Hey, would you like to come along?" And I think that's as easy as it is. And, I was asking you because you really find joy and you really like helping other kids. And it's important for all of us, to get involved in another kid's life and say, "Hey, why don't you come with me?" You check it out with their parents or, who's ever taken care of them. And then you take them out and expose them. And so many times we don't do that, listeners. And so, look ahead to this year. And if you haven't taken out somebody shed hunting, that season's still on, or even start doing the food plot. People like to be engaged. They like relationships, and you got to expose them to the outdoors. How about Quentin?
Yeah.
You mentioned that sometimes you like to hunt with people that maybe know a little bit more than you do about hunting whitetails. What's one story or a couple stories or lessons learned from that type of situation?
Oh man, this takes me back into how I started with ATG. Growing up, I obviously hunted with my dad, and he got me started. And then I got my driver's license, and I got a couple buddies in high school that were passionate hunters too, and so we took off and we did our own thing. And I was kind of a self-taught hunter, building up to this, and then I started to be involved with ATG, and then I really found it amazing to go out with these guys that knew so much more, and your eyes get open and you learn. And if you don't go out to the woods and learn something, even just by yourself, it's just amazing to go out with somebody that knows so much more. And you could think you know everything about them, but every time you go out in the woods, you're learning something. And to go out and share that with somebody and have basically a mentor sit there and like, oh, this is why this is happening, and there's so much knowledge to it, and I love learning from everyone else's experiences. It's just it's very fulfilling to go out there and know you're going to learn one other tidbit from somebody else. It's just an amazing time.
So, what was a couple of tidbits from last year?
Oh, it's just it like I guess seeing turkey hunting for instance. We're kind of off when it comes to turkey hunting because we drive around, we'll see a bird, and you can't think you're going to get on this bird. Some people go out and set up. Well, you know, with a couple of guys that we hunt with, we love to just ground and pound these birds, and we run after them all the time. And to go out there with a seasoned turkey hunter and get within 50 yards without even seeing the bird and then actually calling it in, and you're going, this is never going to work. But they've done it countless times. It's it surprises me every single time. It's awesome to experience and just learn from their tactics.
Yeah, it's amazing when you've never done something, all of a sudden you go in, and it's almost like magic. I remember
Yeah.
hearing Wayne Carlton way, way, way back when we started talking about elk calling. In fact, I got his original cassette right here. And, I think about that. And he was a turkey hunter from the Carolinas. I believe Wayne was from the Carolinas. Anyway, and he'd do the kiki runs and stuff, and then he'd just roll right into the whistle of an elk. And vocalization is important. And, you get vocalization on turkeys, and then you get the right decoy set up. I mean, they'll come strutting in if you don't screw up by screwing up moving and doing the things that we shouldn't do, that I do all the time. But that's okay. That gives me more time in the woods. I think sometimes I do stupid things on purpose so, so I can keep hunting. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That really is funny. When you think about hunting whitetails in Iowa, what makes that so special?
Oh man. It's pretty tough to even put a finger on it here. We're obviously extremely blessed. The DNR has done an amazing job in their you know in their tactics of keeping the population, the herd, very good. We've actually had a pretty tough last couple of years with the EHD and the diseases that came through. There's actually parts of the county that I live in that had over 95% death toll because of that. But overall, the genetics here are amazing. It's pretty incredible to go out and even running trail cameras all the time and just not knowing what you're going to see. You might have that 180 inch or even 190 inch, a coveted 200 inch walk by you, and you never knew the deer was there, and he's just strolling through. And that plays a big role with our bow season is during the rut, and the rut is strictly bow. So you don't have the gun pressure, and those deer have the chance to breed and survive. And obviously we have a big row crop here. It's all corn and soybeans, and obviously there's other states like that too. But the genetics are here, and it's pretty awesome to go out and just not know what you're going to run across anytime you go out in the woods. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty darn exciting. That's what keeps me. I hunt Buffalo County, and it just keeps me going back there because every 5 days somebody will say, it was getting late. It was getting near the end, and then all of a sudden there he was, and just a big buck, a big mature
Yep.
heavy horn buck. Was he 180? Was he 200? Was he 150? Way over 150. But anyway, and that happens. And when that happens to you, one, you get made because he knew you were there, but he's still coming by. And if he had done everything right, the opportunity for the shot was definitely there. And that's the crazy thing about it. And it's just like any other type of hunting. I do a lot of hunting out in the West, and I live here. I live here in Colorado, and you get in the right spots, and then all of a sudden, you can tell the vocalization, you can tell the behaviors, and all these type of things, and if it's a mature bull, or
Yep.
it's a raghorn or a satellite bull or that type of thing, and it's just amazing what we can learn by just spending the time uh, out there, and that's the biggest lesson that I've learned is that the more hours put in, the more um, time I put in doing things right. Like Lombardi used to say, perfect practice makes perfect games, or bad practice makes blank games. And he was right. You have to do everything all the time right, and then you're in the right place, right time, and it's anticlimactic. I was reading something today. The harvest of our game takes seconds, literally seconds.
Yep.
It's no big deal, but if you're a 365 hunter out there, listeners, you know it's everything combined into the whitetail industry, and that makes it such a wonderful brotherhood, if you will, because we all have common ground when sitting, in the campfire, on the pickup, in the tavern, or whatever. We all are common ground, and so that's why I like it a lot. So, having said that, we're at the time we're going to wrap the show, and so Quentin, get some shout outs to your sponsors and any of your pro staffers that you want, and Brian and the crew, and we'll call it a show.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll go through my list of sponsors here. Like I said, we love all of our sponsors and we back them 100%. We have Vortex Optics, Dead Ringer. They have a whole slew of stuff from bow cases, gun sights, you name it, they've got it. Broadheads, Monster Meal, Wind Pro, Expedition Archery, Cherokee Sports, and give a shout out to Brett and Beth Fulcher, the Cherokee Sports. Those guys are awesome. Dan Drake with Scent Crusher. Scent Crusher has been amazing. That is one product that we couldn't do what we do without Scent Crusher. They're awesome. Tacticam, Jeff Peel and Ben Stern, give a shout out to them. And lastly, Advanced Tree Stands are some of the highest quality tree stands on the market. Those things are awesome.
Well, Quentin, thank you so much for that on behalf of thousands of listeners across North America. Interesting show today, and we shared a little insight on Above the Game TV, being a pro staffer and what it takes, and then some of your background and how you become, an integral part of Above the Game TV. So, sir, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you very much, Bruce.
Great. On the next episode of Whitetail Roundup, we're going to meet up with Mike Gofas. Mike is the founder of Warriors in the Woods. What does that mean? It means getting our veterans back in the woods, back in the outdoors, back chasing squirrels, catching trout, or just spending time around the campfire talking about stuff. He's got a band of brothers that is throughout the Midwest, and he's growing all the time. And he's looking for guys and gals that want to help others, veterans that maybe need a hand, need a smile. So you're going to enjoy the show. Mike Gofas, Warriors in the Wood.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.